Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to evaluate expressions with decimals. Just a quick reminder, when we're evaluating expressions, the big thing we need to work on is we need to substitute. And when we substitute, then we solve it. It usually tells us to evaluate it when something equals something. The other time we evaluate a lot is when we have a table that we need to fill in. So here's just a quick reminder of our vocabulary and a refresher on how to divide with decimals, because a lot of our problems today are dividing with decimals. So a refresher: to evaluate an expression, first you substitute or replace a variable with the given value that they tell you. Then you perform the operation or the operations. And if there's more than one operation, you use the order of operations. That is so incredibly important. I cannot tell you how big of a deal that is. Make sure you use the order of operations, which means you do parentheses, then you do exponents, then you do multiplication, division from left to right, and then you do addition and subtraction from left to right. So here is an example. Here's an example. So I have 5.1 plus 3n, for n equals 2.6. In this problem, you have to substitute 2.6 in for n right here. So now I've substituted it in this row. The next thing I have to do is order of operations. I don't have parentheses, I don't have exponents, but I do have multiplication and division. So I have to solve my multiplication problem. 3 times 2.6. They solved it for me and said it's 7.8, but if I did 2.6 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. I count my decimal place 1, and I move it over 1 place. So it is, in fact, 7.8. Now, using the order of operations, I end with addition. So 7.8 plus 5.1. I line up my decimals, and then I solve it. 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 plus 5 is 12. And I bring my decimal down into the answer, and I get 12.9. Let's look at another problem right here. This one's a lot trickier. It tells me evaluate x squared plus 2x minus x divided by 3 when x equals 3.3. So I have to substitute 3.3 in for all of the x's. So I substitute 3.3 in here. I substitute it in here. I substitute it in here. And now I get to solve it. So using the order of operations, the first thing I do is parentheses. I don't have any parentheses, but I do have exponents. I have 3.3 squared, and 3.3 squared means 3.3 times 3.3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Come down to this next row. I have a placeholder. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 3 is 9. Now I add that 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 9 plus 1 is 10. Now I count my decimal places 1, 2, and I come over here 1, 2 decimal places. So that is how they got 10.9 right here. Let me clear the screen so I can do more math. So now I have my exponents done. Now I do multiplication and division from left to right. So first I'm going to do 2 times 3.33. So 3.3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. I count my decimal place right here, and I move it over here, so I have 6.6. Now I have to do 3.3 divided by 3. So 3.3 divided by 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. I bring down my 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Now all I have to do is bring my my decimal up into the answer, and now I am done with that one. So I have 6.6 right here, and I have 1.1 right here. Now at this point, I have parentheses done, exponents done, multiplication and division from left to right done. Now I do addition and subtraction from left to right. So first I have to do 10.89 plus 6.6, and I line up my decimal and fill in any placeholders. 9 plus 0 is 9. 8 plus 6 is 14. 6 plus 0 plus 1 is 7. 1 plus nothing is 1. Now I bring my decimal down, and now I'm going to do the minus 1.1. So minus 1.1, put my placeholder here. 9 minus 0 is 9. 4 minus 1 is 3. 17 minus 1, or 7 minus 1 is 6, and 1 minus nothing is 1. Bring my decimal down, and I have 16.39. Let's do a few more examples. Here are 3 examples. We're going to start with a pretty easy one. 6n equals 2.3. So I'm going to do 6 times 2.3. Well, if that's the case, let me put 2.3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And I'm going to bring my decimal, the one place, over into my answer. So this one is 13.8. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, I have to substitute again. So I'm going to do 3 times 6.4 minus 8, because it says right here x equals 6.4. So 6.4 times 3, 12, 18, 19. So I've got 19.2. Now I have 19.2 minus 8. I've got my imaginary decimal and my 0. So 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 minus nothing is 1. And I bring my decimal down right here. So my answer for this one is 11.2. Excuse my dog. He is busy playing with the squeaky toy. I know you can hear the toy. He's such a dork. Okay, let's look at number 3. R equals 6.5, so I have to substitute it. So I've got 6.5 plus 53.3 divided by 6.5. Well, this one right here, I have to start with my multiplication and division. I don't have parentheses. I don't have exponents, but I do have multiplication and division right here. So now I've got to do 53.5 divided by 6.5. First thing I have to do is I move my decimal over here, and I move my decimal over here. So I have 65 into 535. Well, I know that 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. So it's going to have to be 8. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. 52. 535 minus 520 is 15, and I'm bringing down a 0. 6 times 2 would give me 130. 130 would give me 20. And let me figure it out. I need more room. Just a minute. Let me move my face, if it'll let me. Let me come over here. So I've got 20. So I've got to bring down a 0. So 6 times 3. So I'm going to put a 3 right here. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18, 19. Minus 195. So I've got 5. Bring down a 0, which is 0. So right now my answer is 8.230. And remember in class, I told you go 3 decimal places. So we're going to stop right there. So I've got 6.5 plus 8.230, although I'm not all the way done. So now I've got to line it up and add it. So 6.5, 8.23, put my placeholder. 3 plus 0 is 3. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 8 is 14. Bring my decimal down, and I've got 14.73 would be my answer right here. Let's do a few more problems. Right, here we go. Now I have to solve this a lot, because I have to solve each problem 3 times. The first time I have to make x equals 3.1. the second time x equals 6.2, and the third time x equals 8.3. So I'm going to do 3.1 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. And my decimal goes right here. Let me do the next one. 6.2 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 is 31. So now I've got 31.0. And let me do my third one is 8.3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41. And my decimal goes over one place right here, so 41.5. So with number 4, I have 3 different answers. I have 15.5, I have 31.0, and I have 41.5. Now let's look at the next one. Number 5, I've got to solve it 3 times. So 8.2 plus 3.1 divided by 2. Let me write it the 3 times. 8.2 plus 3.1 divided by 2, except this is supposed to say, just a minute, that is supposed to say 6.2. And this one is 8.2 plus 8.3 divided by 2. So the first thing I have to do for each of these problems is I have to divide. So 3.1 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down my 1. 2 goes into 11 5 times. Bring up my decimal. 5 times 2 is 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. Bring down a 0. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So this one, I now have 8.2 plus 1.55. Let me start the next one. I have 6.2 divided by 2. 6.2 divided by 2. This one's a lot easier. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring my 2 down. 2 goes into 2 one time. So the answer there is 3.1. So I have 8.2 plus 3.1. Now let's look at this last one, 8.3 divided by 2. That one's a little trickier. 8.3, I'm going to put a 0 or 2, divided by 2. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0, and bring my 3 down. 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, and bring my 0 down. 2 goes into 10 5 times. My decimal's right here. So I am done. So I have 8.2 plus 4.15. Now I'm going to write them going down because I have an easier time doing that. So 8.2, 1.55. Put my 0 right here. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 8 plus 1 is 9. And bring my decimal down. So when x equals 3.1, my answer is 9.75. Let's do the next one. 8.2 plus 3.1. Line up my decimals. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. And bring my decimal down. So my answer is 11.3. Now let's do our last one. 8.2 plus 4.15. Put my placeholder right here and let's add. 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. 8 plus 4 is 12. And bring my decimal down. So when x equals 8.3, my answer is 12.35. Okay, the next one is even harder. I might have to erase a couple times. So I've got to do 2 times 3.1 plus 1.5 times 3.1. That's a lot. So 2 times 3.1. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. My decimal right here. So I have 6.2 right here. Now I've got to do 1.5 times 3.1. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 3 is 5. 3 times 1 is 3. Now 5 plus nothing is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 3 plus nothing is 3. I've got 1, 2 decimal places, so I have to come over 1, 2 decimal places. So it is 3.65. Now I have to add it. So 6.2 plus 3.65. Put my placeholder right here. So now I have 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 plus 3 is 9. And bring my decimal straight down. So my first answer is 9.85. Let me erase it, and let's do our next one with substituting 6.2. So now I have 2 times 6.2 plus 1.5 times 6.2. So 6.2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. I have 1 decimal place, so that's 12.4. 1.5 times 6.2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Put my placeholder. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. 0 plus 0 is 0. 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus nothing. I have 2 places, so let me come over 2 places. So I have 9.3. So now I've got to do 12.4 plus 9.3. 4 plus 3 is 7. 9, 10, 11. 1 plus 1 is 2, and move my decimal down. Now I have 21.7. Let's solve it one more time. Remember, you always use the order of operations. So I have 2 times 8.3 plus 1.5 times 8.3. So now I've got to do 8.3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 2 is 16. 1 decimal place, so I've got 16.6. Now I have 8.3 times 1.5. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41. Put my placeholder. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 8 is 8. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 1 is 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. Move my decimal place over 2 places, and my answer is 12.45. Now I have to add that together. So 12.45 plus 16.6. I've got to put my placeholder. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 1 plus 1 is 2. Bring my decimal down, so my answer for number 6 would be 29.05. This takes a lot of work when you've got a lot of steps, but you have to do every step. You can't skip steps, or you can't pretend you did it when you didn't really do it. You need to make sure you do every step on your assignment. Let's look at the next set right here, number 7. I think this is my last problem, but we'll check. It says Juan rented a paddleboard for $5.75 per hour plus a $17.50 fee. Write an expression that shows how much it will cost Juan to rent the paddleboard for X hours, then solve the expression for 3 hours. So first thing I have to do is write an expression, and then I have to solve an expression. Well, if I'm looking at a price per hour, that's really easy because I can just do $5.75 per hour. That's part of my expression. But how much does he pay as a rental fee? As a rental fee, he also pays $17.50. Right there is my expression. That was pretty easy. The key to writing an expression is making sure you read the words and turn the words into mathematical language. Now I have to substitute 3 hours in. And so I am going to do 5.75 times 3 plus 17.50. Well, 5.75 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 3 is 21 plus 1 is 22. 5 plus 3 is 15, 16, 17. I have 2 decimal places. So I'm going to come over here 2 decimal places. So I have 1725 plus 1750. And I think my dogs hear my neighbors. But my neighbor's light isn't on, so I don't know why. Now I have to do 1725 plus 1750. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. I bring my decimal point down. So it will cost Juan $34.75 to rent the paddleboard for 3 hours. And we have another problem. We're not done yet. Sorry, guys. It says Katie is solving the problem 12.6 plus 8.3 divided by Q times 5 for Q equals 3. List the order of steps. Step 1. Katie needs to substitute. She needs to substitute 3 for Q. So let me solve it over here. So 12.6 plus 8.3 divided by 3 times 5. Okay, step 2. She needs to do the divide. She needs to divide 8.3 divided by 3. So let me do that up here. 8.3 divided by 3. Remember, I can go 3 decimal places. So 3 goes into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down my 3. 3 goes into 23 7 times. 7 times 3 is 20. Subtract, and I've got 3, and I bring down my 0. Whoa. No, 7 times 3 is 21, sorry. And I have a 2 right here. 3 goes into 26 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And it goes on forever. So my answer would be 2.76. So now I've got 12.6 plus 2.76 times 5. So next, step 3, I multiply. 2.76 times 5. So 2.76 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7, 35. 36 or 7, 38. 5 times 2 is 10, 11, 12, 13. My decimal goes over 2 places, so I've got $13.80. So 12.6 plus 13.8. Excuse my dogs. So now my last step is I add 12.6 plus 13.8. So 12.6, 13.8. 6 plus 8 is 14. 2 plus 3 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. Bring my decimal down, and my answer is 26.4. This problem was here because of the fact that a lot of kids still struggle with the order of operations, and they want you to think about the order of operations when you're solving any mathematical problem. But these are the steps, and as I showed you, they do work. That is all for today. Good luck on your assignment.